Welcome back, likely marketers. In the last episode, we explored some fascinating trends revealed by Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince and backed up by research from Meta, the Reuters Institute, and Ahrefs. We discussed how the internet is becoming increasingly privatized, with users shifting from the open web to closed platforms and messaging apps. We also looked at how search behavior is changing and the growing impact of AI on internet traffic. Today, we are going to take that foundation and explore what these trends mean for the search market, SEO, and digital marketing strategies. Whether you are a D2C brand, a B2B marketer, or just interested in understanding the digital landscape better, this episode is packed with insights that will help you adapt to these changes. Let's dive in. The shifts we discussed last time, privatization of internet activity, platform specific searches, and the rise of AI are already having profound effects on search markets and SEO strategies. For decades, Google has dominated search, and SEO has largely meant optimizing for Google's algorithms. But that model is now being disrupted from multiple directions simultaneously. First, let's talk about the fragmentation of search. As we discussed last time, younger users especially are increasingly turning to platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and even Amazon as their default search engines for specific types of queries. This doesn't mean Google is going away. It still handles the majority of search queries, but it does mean the search landscape is becoming more diverse and specialized. This trend toward platform specific search is creating what some people are calling vertical search engines, specialized search tools for specific categories of information. For instance, TikTok is largely becoming a go to search engine for lifestyle content, recipes, and product reviews. Reddit is increasingly popular for deeper research and authentic user opinions. YouTube has a much broader usage. It broadly remains dominant for reviews, video tutorials, and how to content. Instagram is a primary discovery platform for fashion, design, food, travel, and visual products. Amazon has essentially become the product search engine. This fragmentation means SEO can no longer be a one size fits all strategy focused solely on Google. Marketers now need to consider platform specific optimization strategies based on where their target audience is searching. The second major impact on search comes from AI assistants and generative AI tools. These systems are increasingly serving as intermediaries between users and information, creating what some are calling the AI layer. When a user asks ChatGPT a question instead of Googling it, they are often getting a synthesized answer rather than clicking through to a website. This creates a new challenge for content creators and marketers. How do you ensure your information makes it through this AI layer to reach users? This is leading to what some people are calling as the no click future, where users get their answers directly from AI assistants or search snippet boxes without ever visiting websites. This trend was already happening with Google's featured snippets, but AI assistants are accelerating it dramatically. I have been talking about this in my earlier episodes too. A third major impact concerns how search engines themselves are evolving in response to these trends. Google, recognizing the threat from both vertical search platforms and AI assistants, is transforming its own search experience. Google's AI overview feature, which provides synthesized answers at the top of search results, represents a significant shift in how the company approaches search. Rather than simply pointing users to the most relevant websites, Google is increasingly trying to provide answers directly within its interface. For SEO professionals, this creates a complex new challenge. The traditional goal of ranking at the top of search results may become less valuable if users are getting their answers without clicking through. This doesn't mean SEO is dead, far from it, but it does mean the strategies need to evolve. So, what does effective SEO look like in this new landscape? Based on the trends we have discussed, several new approaches are emerging. First, content depth and expertise are becoming more important than ever. As AI systems and search engines get better at detecting quality, superficial content optimized for keywords is losing effectiveness. Instead, content that demonstrates genuine expertise and adds unique value has a better chance of being cited by AI systems or featured in search snippets. Second, multi platform visibility is becoming essential. Rather than focusing exclusively on website SEO, brands need to ensure they are discoverable across multiple search environments. This might mean creating platform specific content for TikTok or Reddit, not just to reach users on those platforms, but because that content increasingly influences traditional search results too. Third, structured data and semantic markup are growing in importance. As AI systems become more central to information discovery, the ability of these systems to understand and contextualize your content becomes crucial. Implementing proper schema markup helps AI systems understand what your content is about and increases the chances it will be surfaced to users. Another interesting development is the growing importance of brand search and direct navigation. As the search landscape becomes more fragmented and AI mediated, having users search directly for your brand becomes increasingly valuable. This is leading to strategies where building brand recognition becomes a way to bypass the complexities of algorithmic search entirely. We are also seeing emergence of what some are calling AI SEO, optimizing content specifically for AI systems rather than human users or traditional search algorithms. This includes techniques like writing in a way that makes content more likely to be cited by AI assistants and ensuring content is structured in a way that makes it easy for AI systems to extract and synthesize information. Finally, there is a growing emphasis on community building as a complement to traditional SEO. As more activity moves to private channels and closed platforms, brands that cultivate direct relationships with their audiences gain a valuable channel that's less dependent on algorithmic distribution. These changes in search behavior and SEO effectiveness tie directly back to the privatization trend Matthew Prince identified. As more online activity happens in closed spaces rather than the open web, the nature of discoverable content is fundamentally changing. This shift is creating the internet where valuable conversations and content exist in private spaces that aren't indexed by search engines. For businesses, this means that relying solely on search discovery is becoming increasingly limiting. Instead, the most successful digital strategies now involve a combination of traditional SEO for discovery through conventional search, platform specific optimization for vertical search engines, community building for reaching users in private spaces, and direct connection strategies that don't rely on algorithmic discovery. This more diverse approach recognizes that the pathways to reaching users are multiplying and fragmenting rather than consolidating. Now, let's turn to what all this means specifically for marketers. How should D2C and B2B marketers adapt their strategies in light of these changes? I want to focus particularly on three areas: understanding user journeys, attribution challenges, and generating meaningful data insights. Let's start with user journeys. The linear customer journey that marketers have relied on for years, awareness, consideration, conversion, is becoming increasingly outdated in this new landscape. Instead, user journeys are becoming more fragmented, non linear, and platform specific. A typical journey might now involve discovering through a TikTok video, research via private messaging with friends, verification through Reddit comments, consideration aided by an AI assistant, purchased directly through a platform rather than a website. This fragmentation makes tracking and influencing the customer journey more challenging but also creates new opportunities for brands that understand these diverse pathways. One practical response to this changing landscape is to map customer journeys specific to different audience segments. Different demographic groups are experiencing fundamentally different versions of the internet. So, one size fits all journey mapping no longer works. For younger audiences, especially, journey mapping needs to account for platform specific discovery and the important role of private messaging in decision making. For older audiences, more traditional pathways through search engines and websites may still dominate. Another important strategy is focusing on moments of transition between platforms. These transition points, where a user moves from TikTok to a messaging app to discuss a product, or from an AI assistant to a website for more information, represent critical moments where the user journey can be influenced or disrupted. Next, let's talk about attribution. The already challenging task of determining which marketing touchpoints lead to convergence. The trends we have discussed are making attribution even more complex. When user activity moves to private channels or is mediated through AI systems, traditional attribution models break down. You can't easily track a conversation about your product in WhatsApp or measure the impact of being mentioned by an AI assistant. This creates a major attribution problem where significant influences on purchasing decisions might happen in spaces that marketers can't directly measure. This problem is growing as more activity shifts to private and AI mediated channels. Marketers could respond to these attribution challenges by emphasizing survey based attribution or developing proxy metrics to measure private channel influence, or investing in advanced attribution modeling using machine learning to infer patterns from large data sets. I think they just might have to replace or with and here. Finally, let's talk about data insights in this changing landscape. The shifts we have discussed create both challenges and opportunities for data driven marketing. On the challenge side, the fragmentation of user activity across platforms and private channels means any single data source provides an increasingly incomplete picture. Website analytics alone, for instance, capture a shrinking portion of the customer journey. On the opportunity side, the market is full of CDPs that can help consolidate data from multiple sources. Then there are AI tools that are making it possible to generate insights from data in ways that weren't previously feasible. This includes extracting patterns from unstructured data like customer service conversations or social media mentions. So, what specific actions should marketers be taking in response to all of these trends? Here are five key recommendations. First, diversify your discovery strategy. Don't rely solely on traditional SEO or any single channel for customer acquisition. Instead, develop a multi platform approach that meets potential customers where they are actually searching and discovering. Second, invest in brand building. As algorithmic discovery becomes more complex and fragmented, having customers who specifically seek out your brand becomes increasingly valuable. This makes brand awareness and recall more important than ever. Third, build direct connections with your audience. Email lists, messaging channels, communities, and other direct connections help insulate you from the whims of algorithms and platform changes while also generating valuable first party data. Fourth, adapt your content strategy for different information environments. Content that works well for traditional SEO may not be effective on Instagram or for AI citation. Develop platform specific approaches rather than simply repurposing the same content across channels. Finally, evolve your measurement approach. Recognize the limitations of current attribution models and develop more sophisticated approaches that account for both measurable and unmeasurable influences on customer decisions. In conclusion, the internet trends identified by Matthew Prince and confirmed by other research are driving fundamental changes in how users discover information, interact with brands, and make decisions. These changes require marketers to rethink established strategies around search, content, measurement, and customer journeys. The companies that will thrive in this new landscape are those that recognize these shifts early and adapt accordingly. Developing more diverse discovery strategies, building direct audience connections, and evolving their approach to measurement and attribution. The good news is that while these changes create challenges, they also create opportunities. Brands that effectively navigate private channels, platform specific search, and AI mediated discovery can gain advantages over competitors who remain locked into outdated approaches focused solely on traditional search and website optimization. That brings us to the end of our two-part exploration of these fascinating internet trends and their implications for marketers. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to Likely Marketing and leave us a review. Your support helps us continue bringing these insights to the marketing community. Until next time, I am Shiv, reminding you that understanding today's trends is the first step to succeeding in tomorrow's digital landscape. Thanks for listening.